All right. Aaron? All right. I think we need to start so that we can finish on time. The theme of the second session is going to be AI, a buzzword, but where can crewing benefit? For the first presentation, I'd like to invite to the stage Ms. Mary Kresta, Country Sales Manager at Aage Hempel, Greece, and Mr. Andy Parkin, Managing Director at Kilo. They're going to present about how do you manage delta between CoC and actual competence. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is really a pleasure to welcome you all to this exciting gathering of maritime innovation and technology. Today, I have the honor of introducing a powerful collaboration that's shaping the future of marine training and simulation, Aage Hempel Group and the Vasco Simulation Solution. Let me begin with a brief overview of Aage Hempel Group. With a legacy of excellence in marine electronics, Aage Hempel is a global leader in the supply, installation, and servicing of navigation, communication, safety, and satellite systems. With operations across major maritime hubs around the world, including Greece, Spain, the Netherlands, and Singapore, our network ensures global coverage and consistent service quality. We specialized on navigation and communication equipment, GMDSS, VDR surveys, onboard satellite communication solutions, new installations, retrofits, and global service arrangements. Our commitment is simple: to empower maritime operations with reliable, cutting-edge technology and unmatched service. Turning now to Vasco, a revolutionary leap in maritime simulation. Vasco, developed by Kilo Solutions, and is the world's first wireless virtual reality bridge simulator, offering immersive training experiences without the constraints of traditional setups. It's compact, mobile, and incredibly intuitive, making it ideal for onboard training, classroom instruction, or remote learning environments. This year, Aage Hempel Group proudly became the official distributor of Vasco, and we were thrilled to showcase this partnership firstly at SeaWorld 2025. Together, Aage Hempel and Vasco are redefining how maritime professionals learn, adapt, and excel in complex environments. This collaboration reflects our shared vision to make training more accessible, effective, and future-ready. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Andy Parkin, Managing Director of Kilo, who will guide us through the immersive capabilities of Vasco and show us firsthand how the technology is transforming maritime training. Thank you and enjoy the presentation.
Thank you, Mary. Good afternoon, everybody. I've brought a strange accent with me today. It's not AI generated, so I apologize, but it's pretty authentic. But what I wanted to do, just briefly, so I'm Andy Parkin, I run Kilo. We build untethered virtual reality maritime simulators, and the purpose for that And the increasing purpose was initially it was training, but now it's being used for evaluation of operational risk. And I think one of the speakers quite eloquently mentioned earlier that it's okay having AI models, but unless you've got the North Star or the data and the direction of travel that you're intending to go, then actually you might miss the target. So what we're using virtual reality, or certainly untethered virtual reality simulators for, is to get a very accurate data set on where the risk exists within the operations, and therefore we can then start using that data that's real time and then build models to put in appropriate interventions. But what I've got a few questions first of all. I'm not going to embarrass anybody, so don't worry about it. You know, just have a think about it. But what we'd like to do is try and explore how we manage the delta between a certificate of competence and actual competence. But within this domain, how do we measure what we're trying to achieve with our ability to achieve? Do you know? Are you clear on your strategy? And we talked about strategies this morning, or we were listening to people who were talking about the need for a strategy. You know, AI and the evolution of new technologies is a scary place for the majority of people. So let's not lose sight of that. But let's start with you, first of all. Are you confident? We are all here talking about a technology that most of us have struggled to grasp. I talk to people about virtual reality. Most people get virtual reality mixed up with mixed reality, augmented reality, AI. They really don't understand. So the best place to start is actually the lowest common denominator and build up your knowledge from that point. So how knowledgeable are you? I'm always a very self-deprecating individual. I am pretty confident I know very little, okay? But it's important that you start from that point of asking how knowledgeable are you and making sure you are sure. And then can you apply the knowledge when needed? And this is what we're using untethered virtual reality simulators for, and our clients are using them, is to make sure that when the moment is needed, individuals can apply the knowledge within the operational environment for which they are being employed. Are there any gaps in the knowledge? Most of us know 80% of our job, but it's that 20% which is going to catch us out. I always like this one. It's quite an old one in terms of learning design and learning technologies. But where are you or your organization within the hierarchies of competence? Most people are unconsciously competent. They've been doing it for years, they continue to do their jobs, but actually that's a significant risk to making sure, because they can very quickly become unconsciously incompetent. And as the workplace moves and the challenges evolve, the technologies are introduced, there's a lot of us that are starting to enter that unconsciously incompetent zone. Do you know when you're outside your comfort zone? I'm probably feeling it now, as an Englishman in Greece who arrived at 4 o'clock in the morning and back on a flight to London later on this afternoon. I'd love to stay for the sunshine, but I know I'm going back to the rain in the UK. Standing up in front of you. It's not. It is snow today, actually. You're right, Adonis. Yeah. Don't depress me further. But it's essentially, you know, here I am standing in front of, you know, a learned audience, very, very proficient in artificial intelligence. You know, what do I know? But if you can't answer those questions about yourself or your organization, how can you identify where operating risks exist within your crew or your organization? And can immersive technology help? So can we go back a wee bit, as one of the previous speakers was saying, sometimes you've got to step back to move forward. And can immersive technologies help to measure the current state? Well, The answer is yes. And I'll show you a couple of examples in a minute. We're using untethered virtual reality to deliver for our clients who want to train, but importantly, evaluate watchkeeping standards around the globe, irrespective of geographical location. The data that we are seeing across the sector is increasing significantly. It's becoming unequivocal now that immersive technologies, getting people in there, measuring their performance, evaluating that data, provides an accurate data set on which to build future modeling. What I'll just show you is 3 examples of clients who are using untethered virtual reality. So there's a navigational bridge, it's called VASCO. The acronym for that is the Virtual Advancement System for Competent Operations. It was designed for training, but it's actually being used for evaluation and assessment and making sure that the individuals can operate safely at a level of competence that is expected. There's an engine control room. The principle is the same at macro level. You bring people into an environment as multi-users and you solve challenges together as you would in an engine control room, as you would on the bridge. We have a marine evacuation system one of our clients is using. It's £120,000 per day to deploy a marine evacuation system for training. They do it once every 5 years. The client wanted to make sure his people were far more current and competent and that he or she knew where the operational risk existed within their business with operating that safety critical equipment. But once again, at the macro level, you bring people in to solve challenges together and ensure that your organization is professionally competent. What we've got here is 2 members of the US Navy who were on the bridge of the simulator that Mary will be able to demonstrate to you later. The US Navy have 12,000 surface warfare officers every year who don't have the capacity to go into the fixed simulators, so they're sending them directly to sea. The training burden moves from shore to sea. Operational risk exists. They're not exactly sure where that operational risk exists. So, by using untethered virtual reality simulators, you have the ability to take the simulator to the individual and maintain standards and not take the individual to the simulator. It's a complete change. It came out of COVID. There was the inability to move people around the planet to go to fixed in-country facilities. So the technology allows us to go to those individuals wherever they are and allows us to build an accurate data set of where the operational risk exists. Here's an example. On the left are the guys on the USS George Bush aircraft carrier. On the right is one of their colleagues who's on leave. They all came together to work on the bridge of the ship and go through some navigational procedures. But whilst it's navigation, just think at the macro level, it could be anything to measure that competence. Here we've got an example. Is there a chance you could just increase the volume just a little bit? So just the scenario here is Katerina, Bogdan and Angelo all work for the same company, a shipping company. They don't work on the same ship. They're adhering to the same safety management standards. All of them are on leave. One's in Chile, one was in Croatia, and the other person was in Bulgaria. The instructor who was leading this was in North Carolina, and the yacht manager was in Abu Dhabi, monitoring it. And what you'll see here is Katerina's just joined the ship as the new captain, joined the organisation as the new captain, and she is managing a very poor level of standards amongst her other 2 colleagues but all of them working together eventually, effectively, and under the coordination of a professional instructor. And we can tap in, and everybody can come in and have a look at that and see how people are performing. So, stepping back a wee bit, what competencies are we trying to achieve? And I won't major on these, but essentially we look across competencies and we write competency frameworks for organisations to help them build the requirement before they start advancing down more automation. And then what are you measuring against? So the 4 standards that we're looking to achieve within those competencies are set, defined, and then ultimately measured. Now, I appreciate this is a grainy video, but it's actually authentic. This is an organisation that have been working with us for a while, and very quickly as that data set builds, you can start seeing where risk exists. And so that risk line there, that individual, one of those individuals is a chief officer operating a £700 million super yacht with some VIPs on board, but he doesn't know the basic rules or ability to apply, communicate, and operate in a team environment. And as you come further down, you can see further elements of risk. So using your AI solutions, what we can now do is extract that real-time data and build in accurate intervention measures to eliminate some of that risk. You might have the wrong bum in the wrong seat, the wrong bum in the right seat, so therefore you've got to change people around a wee bit. But really interesting use of data based on operational performance within VR simulators. How are maritime innovators using it? Well, a whole host of use cases are coming through. Competency assessment constantly being utilised. Maintenance of bridge watchkeeping standards. Maintenance of engineering standards. Maintenance of safety management standards. It's all there. Evaluation for talent management assessment. Pre-recruitment and obviously promotion. Pathways for building new careers. You know, we need a new generation coming into the maritime sector. We've created capabilities that allow us to do that and take the learning to them. And then mission rehearsals, but fundamentally building cohesive teams wherever you are. So you can use tech to mitigate risk. We can look at these hierarchies of competencies. We can understand where the operational risk potentially exists, and the mitigation plans can be associated with that once we know what we're trying to achieve. So, all I would say is stand out in your field, use smart technology, but use it smartly, but understand what direction of travel you're taking, but make sure you use it to boost performance appropriate to the need of the business. Thank you very much.